of the heart flows the issues of life. And many of these issues stem from one's emotional, mental, and spiritual condition. Such issues may oppress, stifle, and even stagnate one from living a healthy and fulfilling life. So how does one progress past such issues and achieve a state of emotional, mental, and spiritual healing? There's help, so open your heart and prepare your mind. It's time for healing to take place in your life. You're in tuned to Talking with Dr. Toy, a holistic approach to emotional healing. And now, your host, licensed professional counselor, Dr. Toy Lisa Mitchell.
It's just me and you. I feel so lost, 'cause I don't know what to do.
Well, good Sunday morning. You're in tune to another podcast of Talking with Dr. Toy. Comes your way every Sunday morning. Well, first and foremost, I want to say Happy New Year. Yes, Happy New Year. Welcome to 2026. I am telling you, here's the thing. I listened to several sermons with regards to bringing in the new year. And what I found most profound about those sermons was that they were just grounded in realism, that, you know, we don't know what the new year is going to bring. We don't know what's going to happen. But one of the things that we do hold is that we know that we made it, right? That we are here. And maybe you didn't accomplish all that you wanted to accomplish in 2025. And I talked about this a little bit, but with a different last week. But one of the things is that maybe you didn't accomplish everything that you wanted to accomplish. And maybe in some ways there may be some disappointment here. But one of the things that I really value in the messages that I received was don't sleep on the fact that you made it, to see another year. Yeah, maybe crawled over the finish line, right? Maybe you know, maybe slow walked over the finish line, and maybe you limped over the finish line, but you made it to another year. And to be honest, that is a wonderful accomplishment. Some people didn't make it. Some people that started out in 2025 didn't end up here in 2026. So one of the things is that you've made it, and maybe, as I stated before, maybe you're like, I barely made it, but you're here. And because you are here, to me, that signals, that gives us a bit more runway, right? To be who we are destined to be, to do what we're destined to do. It gives us a little bit more runway. And also, too, it also speaks to that source that kept you in 2025 so that you could see 2026. Not only that source that kept you, the source that's keeping you, and also, too, it speaks to your resilience. It speaks to what you have endured and how you have endured in order to be here in 2026. I just wanted to pause and say that's not something to be taken for granted. So if there's nothing else that you can look back on 2025 and say, you know what, I'm proud of that, or pleased with that, or maybe I'm proud of me, I'm pleased with me. If that's something that you may be struggling with, I really want to affirm and validate for you that it wasn't by happenstance that you were able to be here for the opening of 2026. And all that you've endured and all that you have come through, you're here. And that's something to be grateful for. That's something to build upon as we walk into this new year with things unknown, of how things are going to be or what things are going to happen. But knowing, as I talked about a few episodes ago, your anchor. Your anchor is not within your circumstances. Your anchor is not within your situations. Your anchor is not in people. But being mindful of who is of what are you anchored in? For many, it's anchored in their relationship with God. Anchored in their values, right? Anchored in showing up in as their authentic self and discovering who that authentic self is, right? So being mindful of cultivating and nurturing that anchor as we navigate into an unknown new year, but also residing in that, in the fact, in the fact that should not be taken lightly, that you are here. That's an accomplishment that I hope that you are grateful for, that you are proud of, that you are here. And so now as we navigate that beautiful accomplishment that we are here, the next question is, okay, why am I here? What do I do while I'm here, right? Because there's a purpose and a reason for us being able to see and navigate a new year. And so that's something that I'm going to talk about today. Yes, I'm going to talk about that today. But before I get into that, kind of just went on and jumped in. Before I get to that, let me say this. Again, welcome. If this is the first time that you've heard this podcast, I've tuned in, I want to say thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Dr. Toy, so I go by Dr. Toy. And my purpose for this broadcast is to provide a holistic approach to emotional healing. And I start off with that every episode because I want to be reminded and have that in the forefront of why I'm doing what I'm doing. Do believe that God has called me to do this, but also for you to know why I'm here. Why am I talking? Why am I doing this? And the purpose of what is this for? And the overall purpose is to provide a holistic approach to emotional healing. Because we all are emotional creatures. Despite our efforts to downplay them, to suppress them, to repress them, we are emotional beings. That's a part of who we are. Hence, holistic, right? And so more specifically, my mission is to provide a holistic, restorative, therapeutic approach in addressing and resolving issues that adversely affect the emotional, psychological, spiritual, and physical well-being of individuals who desire to enhance their quality of life. And there's a reason for this mission, because not only to provide a holistic approach, but therapeutic, restorative, ways to restore and repair those aspects of our life. Because listen, it wouldn't be part of my mission my mission if I didn't think it was possible. And here's the thing. Some people may be experiencing in their lives aspects of brokenness, and we are, because of our mere humanity, right? That we're human, that we're imperfect, that we're fallible, and all those things. So again, no shame in experiencing brokenness, because we live in a broken world. So no shame in that. And let me say this, since we live in a broken world, I don't think we can not be impacted by it, right? We live in a broken world with broken people and all of this. And so this is going to impact us in various ways. And so we will, I believe, experience brokenness. I think that's why the Bible says that God seeks to heal the brokenhearted, because he knows that we would be broken, right? Yes. And so I believe it's possible. Restoration and healing. Now here's the thing. I don't think those things are stagnant. I think we evolve, and that we are a work in progress. And so as we heal and are restored from things that, from other things, there may be some other things that may be revealed. I talk to clients about this all the time with regards to unpeeling that onion, right? That many of us have layered lives. And so I think it's an ongoing process. But I do believe it is possible, or I would not be doing this. I don't think God would have called me to this if I did not think it was possible. And some people may feel and may think that is not possible. They may be experiencing, or may have experienced, brokenness and woundedness and hurt for so long that this becomes normalized, that this is the way that I'm just going to have to live. And I don't believe that was the mission and purpose of Jesus when he says that he's come to set the captives free, right? So, but part of this process is, and this is why this mission is so powerful, this mission statement is so powerful, is that you have to participate in your own process. You have to be a participant, right? Because although you can maybe think and believe, this is just what it's going to be. I'm not going to be in a better, this is what it is. And so if you've resolved to say that this is it, that nothing is going to get better, then some of what you've done is just that you've just surrendered to this as a way of, well, I'm resolved. This is the way I'm going to live life. And then therefore you take yourself out of participating, of being a participant in your own restoration process, because you believe and think that it's not possible for you. And some of that is rooted in the fear of being disappointed, right? That if I do try this, what happens if it doesn't work? And so you become consumed with, well, if it doesn't work, then I'm going to be devastated. But then there's another side of that coin. But what if it does work? What if it does? What if it does improve aspects of your life? And you won't know unless you take a step and become a participant in your own process. That's why I say individuals who desire to enhance their quality of life. There has to be a spark there where there's this desire. I deserve more. I want more. That I don't want to stay in this space if it's not healthy for me, if it's toxic. We can listen. The desire is a spark. We can do something with that, right? We can do something with that. And if you're not at that place where you're like, I don't even know if I'm in a place where I do desire, because I've been so disappointed that I'm trying to, in some ways, guard myself from disappointment, where I don't want to hope anymore. I don't want to desire anymore. Then, my friend, so basically what I'm hearing you say is that you're just existing. You're just existing. And so maybe that's where you start. I want to get to a place where I do desire it and maybe hope for it, right? And maybe that's where you start. But again, starting somewhere. So I wanted to kind of break down my mission as we begin this new year, so you can understand why I do what I do and the purpose for it, right? And again, knowing that I am a licensed professional counselor, I know that there are limitations to this format. And so one of the things I always say is this, that if you have a desire to enhance your quality of life and your journey, I would encourage you to do more than just listen to this podcast. Maybe you're one that you've never thought about therapy before. And maybe you're like, you know what? I have my preconceived notions of what it is. I've heard about it and this and that. And maybe this will be an opportunity for you to relaunch. Remember, that's kind of what I talked about last time. Being reflective and maybe relaunching and say, you know what? Maybe I can try it. Because part of this process is that if I take a step and I move, then there's a possibility for things to change and for things to improve, versus if I stay stagnant and don't move at all, nothing will change, right? There's nothing like stagnant water. When water has set and is not moved, there's a stench, right? There's a stench that occurs when water is not stagnant, when it doesn't move. And so with our lives, there may be some things that you're not pleased about in your life or whatever, but here's the thing. Are you stagnant? Are you stuck? And so part of the process may be, let's take a step. Let's take a step. So encouraging you to hone in on that mission. And then also part of the podcast is, engaging in a self-care check. I want to continue to do this. How are you? Really taking the time to reflect. How are you? And what did you do for self-care? Really, in many cases, ways in which you are nurturing self, right? Taking care of your holistic self. So I've been encouraging checking in with yourself, being able to do that because you are worthy of that. You are valuable. And then the next aspect is community care. I love this. The power of collective caring. People committed to leveraging their privilege to be there for one another in various ways. We all have some privilege, maybe some more than others, but really connecting with this idea, this aspect of community care. How did you show up for others, and how did you allow others to show up for you? That is so important. Being able to lean into your social support system, cultivate that. It is healthy. No, listen. I know I hear some of you saying, but people can hurt you. People can hurt you. And yes, that is true. to be honest, you can hurt you, right? And people can help you. And so some of us, it's like, well, we don't want to take the chance of people hurting us. So we miss out on people helping us. And let me say this, that part of growing and part of life is dealing and navigating with other humans and being able to cultivate strategies and coping skills to deal with the hurts, but also to be in a place where you can benefit of taking advantage of the helps and the benefit that people can provide for you. And that idea of reciprocity, knowing that it's not only me receiving, but it's also me giving, and really cultivating that balance. And so, yes, this too goes hand in hand with walking in a holistic and restorative way and how we navigate people in our lives. So community care, self-care, those are so very important. Now, at the beginning of this year, I want to talk about this aspect of, my hope is to have several shows on this particular topic, because it came up in a conversation with someone and basically made the statement, how can we focus on living a life, not just maintaining an image? How can we focus, or maybe the importance of focusing on living a life, not just maintaining an image? Where did this come from? Well, talking with a person, and as we were conversating, part of what came up in that discussion was, well, I don't, and the person didn't explicitly say it, but basically, I don't want people to know that I'm hurting. I don't want people to know that my life is in some ways this messed up. I don't want people to know that. In essence, I want people to perceive, not saying they explicitly stated this, but I want people to perceive that my life is together, right? That there's not a spot or a wrinkle, but I want to maintain this image that I have a good life, a perfect life, a normal life. So basically, my energy and my focus becomes in maintaining an image, because I want to control what people perceive about me. So I want to maintain, so my energy and focus is on maintaining an image, which in some ways can impede and make difficult of living a life. So here's what I'm saying. The living a life is focused on ways that I can show up in real time and show up in what is important to me, what values, what is important and what I value, and living a life that I believe and perceive that I am being authentic and real. And whether living that life is having fun, right? Or maybe aspects of living that life of being content with where I am, living a life of where I'm in fulfillment, and living a life where I recognize and can exhibit compassion and grace towards myself, because I realize that my mere humanity is imperfect and is flawed. So instead of running away from those flaws and hiding and duking and dodging, I own them. I see them. And those are a part of me too. And that's also a part of my journey and a part of my story, which helps me to live a life that's not perfect, but a life that is present, a life that is here. Instead of, and not just maintaining an image that could be constructed by other people, right? Constructed by other things, informed by other things, an image that can in some ways be a fantasy, unrealistic. But I want to control how people see me and what they think of me. You know, this is a concept that's kind of rooted in what we call impression management by Erving Goffman. Impression management. Here's the thing. This is the definition, and I love this. Impression management refers to the goal-directed, conscious or unconscious. That's the key, right? Conscious or unconscious attempt to influence the perceptions of other people, right? About who I am, about a thing or event, right? And so basically, we seek to influence the perceptions of others by regulating and controlling information in a social interaction. In essence, we're regulating what people see, what we present to people, and we're trying to control the information that others receive about us in social interactions. And listen, I love this. The goal, people undertake impression management to achieve goals that require they have a desired public image. Basically, it's called self-presentation, how we present ourselves. So it's, again, the conscious or unconscious process through which people try to control the impressions other people form of them. And here's another quote like this. The goal is for one to present themselves the way in which they would like to be thought of by the individual or group they are interacting with. Yeah. And so although this is an aspect of social engagement, listen, it's not a negative thing. It's a realistic thing, because we do it, especially, we talk about first impressions. We want to give people a good first impression. And so we have strategies in which we engage in to do that. So I'm not saying that this is a bad thing. This is something that we do. This is something that we engage in, right? Impression management. And it's a part of how we socialize and interact with other people. So it is a part of that. And I'm not saying it's negative, but here's what I'm saying. Here's what happens sometimes. Sometimes what happens is that we lock in and become so focused on impression management that we negate really living a life. What do I mean by that? We're so wrapped up, energy focused on how are people going to perceive me? What are they going to think of me? I want them to, managing those impressions. So we spend so much energy managing those impressions that in some ways we lose ourselves in the image. We lose who we are. We lose aspects of our humanity because we're trying to live up to an object or an image that may, in many cases, be unrealistic. And so we continue to try to maintain an image. And therefore, what does that do? To some degree, it takes us out of being present in our own lives. I want people to hold me in high esteem. I want people to do this. So in order for people to hold me in high esteem, I need to control and regulate the information that they receive about me. I want to put my best foot forward, whether that be what I wear, what I do, or how I respond, my family, all of this. And again, not knocking it. This is something that we all engage in. It's a part of our social interactions. But what I am saying, that in some ways it's imbalanced, that we too lose ourselves because we're struggling to live up to an image. And I think in some ways, when we begin to, let's say this, neglect aspects of our own humanity, because maybe aspects of our own humanity don't fit in the image. I don't want people to know that I'm insecure. I don't want people to know. And not only don't want people to know, maybe I don't want to face that I have insecurities. Maybe I don't want to face that I'm struggling with depression, anxiety. Because I want people to know that I'm this faith warrior. I don't bend, I don't break. But what is happening is we're not dealing with our stuff when we're solely focused on maintaining an image. And then what begins to happen is this. You become the image, but you lose the person. You don't even know who you are anymore because you are now an image, an object, instead of a person. Listen, we're going to talk about it. I think it's an opportune time to come into the new year, to think about these things, to process these things, and find those moments of reflection. So we're going to delve deep into this because I do believe balance is in order. Living a life, not just maintaining an image. We're going to talk about it. Well, listen, I've come to the end of my time. Remember my sayings, right? Number 1, relentlessly and intentionally pursue authentic and genuine relationships vertically with God, horizontally with others, and inwardly with yourself. Number 2, maintain and sustain a keen sense of awareness and ongoing discovery about self as well as others. Number 3, take good care of you and engage in things that are helpful for your mind, body, soul, and spirit. And finally, remember, out of the heart flows the issues of life. Let's continue to talk about it and continue our journey towards emotional healing. Until next time, bye-bye.
So I need to talk.
You've been in tuned to Talking with Dr. Toy, providing a holistic approach to emotional healing with your host, licensed professional counselor, Dr. Toy Lisa Mitchell. please connect with me at talkingwithdrtoy.com or Facebook at Talking with Dr. Toy or email talkingwithdrtoy@gmail.com. I would love to hear your story and hear your heart regarding the issues of life you may be experiencing. Remember, out of the heart flows the issues of life. Let's continue to talk about it. I look forward to hearing from you. Thanks for listening, and please join me next week for Talking with Dr. Toy.